The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go.
What is this?
Giggity, 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 goo.
Who else but
The Q.
it's showtime? Gentlemen, let's get down to business. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Q. You're listening to the best pop culture, current events, current affairs show east or west of that Mississippi River, hailing from the great city of St. Louis and worldwide at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland, joined today by the spectacular comedy stylings of one Mr. Jonathan May.
What up?
As well as the political research and assertiveness of one Mr. Jason Kull.
Assertive. You're comedy, I'm assertive.
Welcome to 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, KYRO. That's News Radio, KYRO.com, every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time here on KYRO. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Q. I am your host, Mark Bland, as I talked about a little bit earlier. And Jonathan, you're here. It's good to see you, buddy.
Always. Come on, stop it. You know I'm always going to come through. Well, not always. Just
You're not always going to come through? Like, wait. Hold on. He put like a real...
You know I'm your guy. I mean,
I'm
your
guy.
guy.
I'm sort of your guy, but not really your guy.
I'm a guy.
Just keep you on your toes.
Just keeping me on my toes. Well, what's been going on in the world of Jonathan May? Let's catch the people up. What is new babies? Got new babies?
Why would I have babies?
I'm just asking if you have any new children, babies. No new babies.
I do
Okay.
have a new baby. I got a short coming out in probably about 2 weeks.
You got a short coming out.
A
short film. And what is that called?
It's called High Five.
That's called High Five.
High Five.
And what is the premise of High Five? Can we get is this too short to give a premise on, or can we kind of get the bullet point?
The premise is I'm like on Tinder or something. I meet this lady and I get to the house and the husband's there, and basically her husband wants to get down as well.
So it goes from there, is what you're saying. It goes from there.
What you're saying, it's a video you made last Tuesday.
Right. You made
this
with
old white
your
couple
own,
sent you an Instagram message.
We shot this probably about a year ago. We just got done doing all the editing, and we got to do ADR probably about in a week or two, but it should be out pretty soon.
Jonathan has sex with the Wilsons.
Jonathan has sex with the Wilsons. It's coming to Pornhub soon.
Bridget and Doug Wilson.
Shout out to the director James Dean. And when he wrote it, he said, "I just looked at you. It was like, oh, he probably he probably went through the situation." Yeah, there you go. You good?
I want to see it.
Yeah,
I want to know what happens. I want to know.
It'll be out. It'll be on there. It's fun. It's nothing but
This Jonathan succumbed to peer pressure.
It's okay. Well, no, Jonathan is pointing out the fact that I have like large swaths of like bugs or something just
it was
like
a
attacking me.
Caterpillar on you.
I don't know where it's at. It's gone
It went
now.
down.
It's
and it
gone.
better not get over here because I will leave. I do not do insects.
We have talked about this before. First off. You're the one who You're the one who famously came on my show and explained that werewolves are real.
Absolutely.
But then you turned around to let us know.
It wasn't a joke. I wasn't a comedian that day. She's laughing at me.
Jonathan is a comedian 24/7. Because here's the funny part. On one of the shows where we talked about this, he then came out to let us know that he's scared of snakes and spiders and all these other different things.
Not werewolves?
And now
Absolutely.
he's now talking about a baby caterpillar that he says was minuscule, like the size of one of his ear studs, like that he wears on his earrings.
I don't care how big it is.
And he said that if it comes over near, now I'm looking at your earrings right now, just for like a size comparison. If something that size crawled up towards you, I feel like size-wise as a human being, you definitely are within the power ranking here. Like, you're the one who's on top of this game. You could easily squash or kill whatever that is.
I don't care if it's I am gonna squash it and kill it, but I don't need to be around it. Like, what are you talking about? Keep them bugs over there.
Keep them bugs over here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you
As if I just walk around with bugs all over me and
Why
stuff
not?
constantly.
I've never thought about it.
Jason, you don't believe in werewolves?
I don't know.
Why would Jason believe in werewolves? Why would a normal human being? First off, if you believe in liberal politics of any sort, there's no way you believe in werewolves,
No,
okay?
you
Because we're not going into the conspiracy, lizard people running the government, werewolves are real, and vampires.
How
tell
many
you what,
stories you
though,
read about a guy torn
what I-
pieces in the forest?
I don't know if they're
None.
real.
What a bear?
But what I
None.
am down with
What's it?
is like going out in like the woods and camping with a bunch of us and looking for them. I'm cool with that.
Why would you want to do
Once
that?
again, wait. No, this is
So
great.
if they're
No,
real.
Jason.
Why wouldn't I? We
Famously,
gotta see it.
hold on. No. Let's go down this road. It's been a couple of years since we've even approached this subject. Okay, a few years ago, ladies and gentlemen, on the Q, our friend Jason came up during the summer of 2020. It would have been the COVID summer. He came up with the idea that he thought it would be really great if we would get together. And then we came up on this show a few weeks later, and he said, hey, this is a great idea. We got the fall coming up and Halloween coming up. This was 2 years ago. And he's like, I think it would be really great if we could get me and Jonathan and Gary and all of us and Bobby all to go to like a haunted, what is it? Eastern
there's a former
penitentiary
institution.
or
Yeah,
institution or whatever.
Yeah,
like
something.
that.
It's outside
And
Kansas
go
City.
do like a ghost hunt from like midnight till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Why?
And I thought that
just so you
was
can
a
find one.
great idea, Jonathan. I
They lock
really
you in,
thought
like,
this
you
was
can't
a
leave.
good idea.
And you're locked in, so you're not gonna
Remember, werewolves are real, so you want to see them. You want to see
I'm not
what's
locked
real.
in here. I don't want to be with a bug.
But
What
you
do think
want
I'm going to be locked
listen,
in with a ghost?
Jonathan,
for?
don't you want to be
That would
able
be
to pull
fun.
your cell phone out and take a picture of a real werewolf?
No, I don't want to be able to do
Why?
that.
But you wanted me
If
to
I pull
believe.
myself
Hold
on,
on.
I call 911.
You
Why
want
not?
me?
It's not a Kodak moment. What are you
believe-
talking about?
You want me to believe that werewolves are real, but you don't want to see one in real life.
I'm willing to go search
I believe
for them.
chlamydia is real. I don't want it in real life.
You're kind of
There's a
sounding
big
like a
difference here.
Trump supporter at
There's
this
a
point.
way
I
difference
know
here.
that he could be a president, and I want to believe, but I'm not willing to have any
I'm gonna make it
expectations.
happen.
Like, this is crazy, Jay.
Something is real.
I'll look for 'em.
You two are genetically flawed. I don't know. I don't know what is going on.
First off,
great idea.
I love the idea. I love your idea of us go. Listen, because
We
we're
need to do
because we're back here at the radio station now doing our thing.
Yeah.
I really felt like it would be kind of cool, since it's been many years, for me to do a special Halloween show. And since Halloween is so close to the weekend this year, it's going to be really easy to have a great weekend for a Halloween show. And I figured we could do something. Maybe we could go to a real life haunted house.
I can do it with two conditions.
What?
How about wait?
Alcohol.
Real life haunted house, real life haunted house, or fake haunted house? How do you do in fake haunted house?
I don't do good in fake haunted houses either.
Yeah, I don't want people like scaring the crap.
I feel like we could set up the whole go through the haunted house with like recording devices on situation, and then go to like a cob factory or go to like one of those like the darkness or something like that, and then we have to go together through as a group, and we have to do the haunted house. And no, you can't. You can't bring your wife. I can't bring you can't bring anybody to pat your hand or
I'll
hold
be
it.
the guy in the van watching a live feed, telling you to run when you need to run.
No, you gotta go too.
Wait, you're not even willing to go into
I absolutely hate
a
haunted
fake
houses,
pay
so I
like
can go.
kids go to on the weekends pay haunted house?
I'm too old to get scared, man.
No, you
too
sound
many
like you're
things
too
can happen.
scared to be
I
scared.
would
Is
go to
what you
haunted
sound.
houses as a
Every
kid.
other word out of his mouth is I'm scared of something. So like I don't.
I might break a knee or something going to. I'm too old for that.
But
man.
don't run.
I cut the grass the next day. My back
Well,
is
even
out.
better. Listen, let's take you away from the crowds, people chasing you. Let's take you to a real haunted house. Therefore, nobody's
So
going to
ghosts can chase me.
nobody's going to be in there, right?
on.
If the ghost shows up, only then do you have to worry or
Okay,
run.
Wait a minute. Who would you say? You said you, Jason, me. Who else?
The
Anybody else?
original.
We could
sort
get
of
Bobby. We
group,
could get
you know?
Gary if you want.
Right,
We
right.
could-
So
we could
you
get
get
multiple
one black
people.
guy in a real haunted house. Y'all got me messed up, bro. You lucky we on live because I was about to cuss. Ain't no way I'm doing that. How much we talking? I might have a price. How much are we talking?
All right,
I might have a price.
Here's the thing.
What if you could bring one friend with you? One black friend, too.
If you
Let's make it special for you.
I'm gonna set my black friend to get killed too. Oh, I'm just
Yep.
the best friend in the
Yes,
world.
you will, sir. Yes, you will.
I also know another black guy other than you. I can ask him.
Yeah, we have multiple black friends. I have multiple black
Yeah,
friends.
you-
I could ask other black friends.
forget
see
how
if they would
we're
like to
like
come.
In the blue heaven with
And
me,
they
you
would
guys think I'm
probably-
impressed.
You just
your
wrote
black
that.
friends that you gonna bring. I don't know them.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
You don't need to know who it is.
Black
It doesn't
people have to
matter
meet
who
at
it
least
is.
2 or 3 times before they're cool.
Maybe I'll
with each
bring
other.
my black friend Tuffy with me. It's fine. I got
Tuffy ain't
lots
going
of-
to no haunted house.
Why not?
And that's not your friend. It's my
first,
friend.
First off, Tuffy's more of a man than you are, so I already know right off the bat he can handle the haunted house.
I didn't know anything about psychology. I'm about to change my whole mind. I'm about to take this and say, let's do
Tuffy
it.
would go with us.
His name is Tuffy. He's tough.
Oh no! Look, I got a little caterpillar. I might throw a little caterpillar at you. You big smart psychological man.
I think the hardest thing would be staying up all night. I'm not afraid of.
Do you think really the hardest thing would be to stay up all night? I feel like there would be. Listen, if we went down to, let's say, I know the
I
guys.
slept a little bit. Like,
I know the people who own the Lent Mansion. I know them personally, the Pointers. I know Paul Pointer for a long time. Paul, if I went down and talked to him, it would be like old friends meeting up, and I guarantee you we would be able to set up something immediately. We could even bring in like a ghost paranormal team with it. Now, by the way, the Q has done Halloween shows in the past, and what you guys might not know about these, we've gone to locations to do things where we go to haunted houses, and we went with famously with DC of the Stephen DC Morning Show. We went and did the Witch Molly haunted house show. We've done a lot of different things over the years. So this is not something new to us. It's not something that we haven't done. It's just something we haven't done in a long while because we just haven't had the opportunities, and things are now kind of changing up because COVID is kind of slowing down. So like we can maybe put some of this together, and I think it would be fun to get Jonathan out there and you out there and me out there.
I tell you what,
and a couple of other people.
I'll do the Lent, but you can't do it live because I'm gonna be cussing. You're gonna be working.
Oh no! We'll do it. We'll do it early enough to where we can edit it down in time for the radio. Like, don't worry, you can cuss. We'll edit your cusses down.
Yeah, I mean,
because we're going to be laughing the entire time that we listen to the 5 hours of audio as you cry about somebody farted around the corner and you thought that was a ghost talking.
I'm not gonna cry. It's gonna be flight mode. Like I'm not gonna cry. I'm just be like, yo, f this. I'm up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna cry. I'm up.
So
ghosts.
weird.
Do you believe in ghosts, Jason?
Scared
more than I probably do werewolves.
So you want to go see some real guys? Why not?
Why not?
So weird. Scared of ghosts, but not of the people in real life that I tell them to avoid. Right. So there's that. Okay. Yeah. So
you might meet a cool ghost.
I'll make you out 100 houses. It's gonna have your pictures with your credit score that says like 320. Oh, what happened? Oh my God!
They're really good.
What happened?
I really, now, Jonathan. Jeez, listen. Because this is actually something we've been discussing. I like this idea. I didn't try for it last year because we were still into COVID and stuff. And when he first presented to us, we were in the middle of COVID, so we were head deep in it. So like this year, I feel like the opportunities are there. We might be able to put something together. Would you be game to be with us in whatever we put together? Yeah,
it's a bad idea, but if I do it.
I mean, it's not like it's not like Fear Factor. I don't have Joe Rogan over here trying to get you stung by scorpions on live TV.
Trying to get me possessed by a ghost is a very bad idea.
Okay, first off, the ghosts aren't real, and neither. Well,
everybody that lived magic killed themselves. What do you think they killed themselves for? It's just a family tradition.
But come on, it's not the worst. It's not the worst idea I've ever had. I mean,
the dog killed itself.
We have discussed. Listen. You and me off the air have talked about God, the idea of God, theory of God, of what we think of God, who God is, this, that, and the other.
Right.
We've talked about aliens and whether we believe they exist, and I've even talked about my beliefs on that here on the show, and I'm cool with any of that. Listen, you know what would be interesting? If I could find werewolf hunters who live locally in St. Louis who go out and try to find werewolves, we could go with them on a werewolf hunt.
That's definitely a no.
Well, Jonathan's
they're not real, so you'll never find any, so it doesn't worry us.
It's a hard pass.
He's been in the military, so he could shoot the guns.
It's a hard pass.
I feel like camel spiders were scarier than anything we could do on this radio.
And I shot at a camel spider.
I'm sure you have.
Yes, I shot at a camel spider.
I'm not saying you haven't. I'm just saying I feel like we could...
dropping a bomb.
I literally shot at a camel spider.
What do you think would be worse? Having to be around the caterpillar that was the size you saw earlier on me.
That turned
into a butterfly. A caterpillar like that on your shirt like it was on mine, right? Just on me or on you. Or being in a dark, secluded room like this room right here, but we close the door, we turn out the lights, you're in there, no lights, no sound, whatever, for like a half an hour, 45 minutes straight. Like, what's worse, you think, the bug on you or dealing with that?
Why do you assume?
Because I feel like in the dark room, your mind will make its own scary things up to creep you out.
Why do you assume that I would pick between? I don't want either. I wouldn't do either. Like, I'm not going to pick with like, oh.
Well, what you don't understand is Tuffy's got a new show called Fear Factor St. Louis, and you're going to be one of the guests on this, so we got to figure out which things to put you in to scare the hell out of you, Jonathan.
You know,
it's different. You know, I can eat some crazy stuff. I can drink some spoiled milk, whatever. I mean, and
Could
it's
you
$50,000 at the
could
end.
you handle having a cohesive conversation with Joe Rogan directly for an hour?
Oh,
could you handle that?
That was Joe Rogan.
He's like, I could.
It was about 50
But he's going to
G's.
talk Trump stuff the entire time, like how much he likes it.
Well,
Or,
you know, I like some of Joe's stuff. And I don't like some of his stuff, but I feel like that's a person. Any one of us would sit down and be like, "Yo, this is actually a dope
hey,
conversation."
listen,
right?
I have come on. I've been asked
Cut right to it.
off the air multiple times my thoughts on Joe Rogan. And my thoughts on Joe, I had an entire episode where I made fun of it, called it Pogan, but that's because I had the Soulardian guys, and the one time we mistakenly said Pogan instead of Rogan, so we just kind of played along with the joke down the road. The truth on Rogan for me is very simple. I don't hate the guy. I don't love the guy, but I do understand that he has some unique shows that are interesting that I've listened to, that I've found entertainment in. And I've also been informed in certain cases. People that he's had on that I do trust, that I do believe in. And when they talk about certain things I didn't realize they were involved in, it kind of opens my mind. I love when he interviews people like an Elon Musk. Yeah, he might be crazy, smoking weed the whole time, whatever. Cool. It's just a unique conversation to see somebody laid back and stuff like that. Not everything always has to be about the fact that he said the N-word. Now, famously on this show, you and me have had this conversation. I've said the N-word live on the radio with Jonathan. Like, it's not unheard of for these things, but it depends on how you're talking about it. Where the way Joe is throwing it around is not the way we were discussing the physical word and how it's used. The way we were
It was
handling
the first and last time he ever said it with me around. Remember that? Like, I was like, yeah, that's okay. All right, now. I owe you one.
Is it just
like
as
a
bad
white
to
guy's
say
dream, right?
Negro?
Say it once.
Is Negro just as bad?
It's the way you say it. Like, you can't.
Is it bad to say Negro, though, the word Negro?
The word Negro, the way you say it. I mean, if you're reading a book, because who uses Negro in their regular vocabulary?
Sure.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So if it's like you're reading a
Are you
passage
from
out
the
of an old book,
1920s?
yeah, you're like, oh, you can't walk down the quick trip and say, oh, well, look at these Negroes. You're going to get your butt whooped.
Sure,
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
It's context to a lot of things.
Right. No. I understand where you come from. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on KYRO. When we come back, more with me, Jonathan J. Scott. We'll be back after this.
I won't be back.
I do the same thing I told you that I never would. I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, I get drunk.
1280 AM KYRO News Radio, KYRO.com. You're listening to the Q, Mark Bland, as well as
Jonathan May.
Oh, that's you.
And Jason Cole.
That's right. Just gotta turn these microphones on.
May.
Just gotta make. Remember when we had JSO on? I couldn't get the damn microphone to work half the time, and he didn't really like you. We had a wrestler come on last
from the
week
beginning.
on the
like you.
show, and he was not a fan of Jason at all. Now he's a little bit of an arrogant guy, but that's okay. That's okay. Nice guy to still talk to. Nice guy to still talk to. It's just his thing. He was just saying he was just not cool with him.
I can see why he hangs around Mark, huh?
Yeah, there it is. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for listening to us here on this Saturday. A lot going on in the world, a lot of news stories that are coming out, but one of the biggest news stories that broke just this past week was that our friend Jake Paul, that's right, the famous Jake Paul of Jake and Logan Paul, the YouTubers that have gone on to have boxing careers and box Floyd Mayweather and box all kinds of different people. Like we just boxed ourselves in. We had a fight coming up with Fury that was canceled at the last second, and Jake Paul was really mad about that, wasn't able to get anybody to fill in. People had been talked about, and the fight was supposed to be in August. Right?
Yeah.
And so he has now set a new date, October 29th. I think it is the weekend of Halloween.
That is it.
And they are going to do Anderson Silva, the famed MMA, guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer for UFC. Former middleweight champion of the world, undefeated, very talented, very, very legendary in the sport of mixed martial arts. He retired a couple of years ago and went headfirst himself into boxing. Like, that is what Anderson Silva has been doing professionally in the fighting arts for the last couple of years. So, finally, I mean, Tyrone Woodley, right? Tyrone was a fighter who had boxing background to him because of his mixed martial arts background that he uses, but it wasn't something that he's been focusing on. Jake keeps fighting all these guys that are okay guys to like bump around with for a few rounds like we're doing on the front ends of these different things, but nothing of real substance, we would say. Tyrone was about the most substance he's had so far, and he took care of Tyrone Woodley.
He's fighting a lot of guys out of their element.
Out of their element. And this is the first time I'm seeing someone who's still out of his element technically, but within the element that he's trying to do against. Now, the problem that I have with this fight, Jonathan, and I know you and me were talking off the air. You were thinking about even having a fight party.
Right.
The biggest problem that I have with this fight, it's the only problem I have with this Anderson Silva fight. I know Anderson likes to walk around a little bit bigger. He likes to walk around about 185 to 195, maybe even getting hit on 200 at certain spots, depending on how it goes. And I don't know where he's at in his fighting career currently. Actually, Jay, if you can look that up, find out what the boxing.
Record?
Just look up, Anderson Silva boxing record, and it'll probably tell us what weight class he's fighting at currently. Jake Paul isn't that big of a guy as far as like height wise. Like he's not like my height, like his brother Logan is. Jake's more of like a 6 foot, 6'1" guy, but he's also got like a heavyweight's kind of body on him. He's got a lot of muscular build, right? This is more like a tight end in football. This is not someone who's built out like what a middleweight would be or even a light heavy would be. This guy's built out more like a heavyweight is, and he's fighting guys that are like Tyrone Woodley, middleweights. I mean, you're giving up 15 pounds right there, right off the bat. Minimum to a Jake Paul, who's definitely coming in, I would say, at this point, around 2 to 215. Now, I don't know where this fight's going to go on that aspect. I know Anderson Silva has hellacious cardio. He had it when he was a champion in the UFC. I guarantee you he hasn't lost it. Nothing's changed for him as far as that. It's just that style of fighting, as he was getting older, tougher to do. Eventually, you're going to age out. That's what happened. But boxing... still a lot of cardio, but you still get to get in there and hit the other guy a little bit. So.
He's 3-1.
Okay.
2 knockouts.
He's got 3-1 with 2 knockouts.
And he has Jake Paul listed as next match.
And does he have a weight class? Does it say what his weight class is?
Weight. He's 6'2".
Okay. All right. So height wise, we're within range of each other. Size wise, I feel like this could be to Jake's advantage again. I feel like size-wise, he'll be able to eat a lot of the punches. Jake, I will tell you guys, after the last fight, I told you, the guy doesn't come off as some schlub who doesn't understand boxing.
He's 6'2", 185. That's his last online.
And that's for
class.
Anderson Silva?
Yeah, that's just
okay, so 6'2", 185. That's middleweight. So like I said, he might be walking around at 195 to 200 right now. Fine, that's within range, but my point still being... if I'm a bigger, beefier dude and I got a lighter guy that's hitting me, I'm not going to feel it as much. Lyoto Machida was always known for his striking, or not Lyoto Machida, I'm sorry, Anderson Silva was always known for his striking ability, but Anderson Silva had so many weapons at his disposal. And he was so good at using, this is why he's able to take out a light heavyweight like Forrest Griffin when he's a middleweight fighter. And he does it standing a foot away from the guy as the guy throws like 30 different shots and misses every single one of them and then just gets tagged up 4 times and then gets knocked out and then runs away from the ring because Anderson Silva embarrassed him.
Yes, I think Jake is looking for the loss. I think he wants to get this loss so he get more money.
I don't think he wants it. No. I don't think of it like a YouTuber. I think now if he keeps
a YouTuber,
but if he keeps the wins going on. How he got famous in the first place will start to fall away as he builds these wins up. And like I said, Ben Askren versus Anderson Silva is a very different level of fighting. And Nate, what's his name? Nate from the NBA, who was his first fight, versus Ben Askren's a very different level of fighting ability.
Fight a pro boxer.
He tried to in Fury. That's Fury's brother, but Fury's brother backed out, which is funny. We talked about it here on the show. Still to this day, I don't understand how you were in the United States multiple times leading in the 6 months leading up to the fight, and then all of a sudden it's like, the week before the fight, you're like, our visas say we can't come and we're not able to. It's like, who doesn't know about their visas until a week before the fight? Like, what are you doing? You would have known this a month ago, 2 months ago. Like,
check someone on his
this
team,
is some ridiculousness. Like, you were just worried. And I think it's because Jake can eat punches. This is what I'm saying. Like, after that last fight, I noticed Jake can eat some punches. Like, he can handle it. So you put him in, even with a lighter boxer. Right? You're going to get a Floyd who's going to get in there with a Jake Paul. Crazy great to have that opportunity for Jake Paul to be in with a Floyd or like Logan did with Floyd. The problem is that Jake's a beefier dude. Floyd could sit there and tag him up all round and then dodge every punch like he likes to, and still never knock Jake Paul out. Still never knock him out just because you tagged him up. He's just that much bigger of a fighter than a Zab Judah ever was, or than a Canelo Alvarez ever was. Like, it's just, that's where we're at. So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Jonathan? If you were to put a gauge on this fight, you think you're going to go with Jake? You're going to go with Anderson?
I'm going to go Anderson.
You're going to go with Anderson. Yeah. Is it because he's black?
What is
I'm asking. I'm just asking. This is an innocent question. It's an innocent question.
Innocent question is: did you drink all the milk? What are you talking about?
So you're going with Anderson Silva?
Yeah,
okay,
Jay. Well, he's still black, but yeah, I'm going with Anderson, man, because he's a real fighter.
It's because he's black. I got it. Okay. So Jay, who are you gonna go with? Who do you like in this?
Every one of these guys at the Pauls fight that aren't boxers, they lose. If you
don't say the black man who's named Anderson Silva, you're not woke enough, sir. I just want you to know that.
I said it's not black. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's a black man. He just might be from Brazil also. That's what he speaks. Yeah, like it's, we get it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. This is hard for you to understand. Like, I get it.
But I'd have to say Silva's punching power's probably better. He's been doing it
I think
longer.
He's more accurate.
He's a professional, and he's going to win a fight. He's professional. He's been doing it long. He's professional.
Now, I'm a big Anderson Silva fan. I hope he wins the fight. At the same point,
that's because he's black.
If Jake wins the fight, I'm not going to be disappointed. Like I said, he's added another 0 and another win onto that record. So, like, as he builds it up, eventually someone's going to call him out, and he's going to take the payday for the real boxing match, Jonathan, that you're talking about.
He's
like
got
that
the payday.
real.
No, nobody's going to bring that payday to him. He's got the payday. You see what I'm saying? He's the one with the money.
Right, and every time he has another win, it's slow. I know, but you're saying, listen. You came on this show in the last 10 minutes like we're talking about this, and you said, literally yourself, he's fighting nobodies. Like, but to start it all off, we said, Jonathan, you're thinking about getting the fight. And you're like, yep, I'm thinking about getting the fight. It's like, okay, so you're right. He is the guy, but he's taking on nobodies, but it's worth your time to watch.
Smart. Now, look, just because I want the kid to lose doesn't mean I don't.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you're dumb for this. I'm just saying, like, it's worth your time to watch.
He's smart. I'm saying, Jake is smart the way he's doing this. He's making a lot of money. He's getting a lot of people paid. Willie never had a payday like that. Nate Robinson never had a payday like that. That man was in the NBA for years. He never had a payday for that amount of time to get knocked out.
I know where.
You tell me right now, hey, you can get more money right now to get knocked out than you ever made. You're like, oh yeah, well let's do this. Let's take this to the judge. Stop it. It's a good thing that he's doing. Now, he's helping the sport out.
Who really needs this more than an Anderson Silva, which is great. Let Anderson do his thing, and if he wins, he wins. If he loses, fine, whatever. You know who needs this more than Anderson does? Conor. Conor has done nothing in the MMA world since he broke his leg in half. He hasn't had another big money fight of any sort that you would think of, oh, that's something that people would be gravitating towards. If he beats Anderson, I feel like if you're Conor, go ahead. Set up the fight with him, because here's the thing. Everybody will buy that fight to see see Jake knock Conor out, literally, because they're going to want to see him finally get his comeuppance in the boxing ring, because it didn't happen with Floyd. Even though him and Floyd both said at the end of that fight, you should have just let him knock me out, because that's what people paid for, to see this big, huge money fight. So that
I would have paid to see that fight.
But here's the thing: if I'm Jake, I take the fight, because now I tick Conor off the list too. So I got Conor, I got Anderson, I got Tyron Woodley, I got this guy, I got that. Like, I got everybody you're fighting too, Floyd. Eventually, someone's gonna come to the table and is gonna be like a Tyson, who, let's be honest,
he could probably still fight.
Tyson has already talked Jake up before, said the kid's not a bad boxer. After being on the front end of the Logan Paul-Mike Tyson battle, okay? He's got a good relationship with those two. It wouldn't surprise me to see him build up a little bit, and then all of a sudden we go from Conor McGregor to Mike Tyson as your next fight. But here's the thing.
Tyson said earlier this year that if that fight was going to happen, it would have happened this year. And it was around February. He was like, if we do it, it's going to be around October. He literally
right,
said
but
that.
You know what? They could have easily told him off to the side, hey, Mike, are you cool? Yeah, I'm good. I got money and I'm old. Cool. Sit back. Relax. Just wait till early next year.
He said it wasn't going to happen. He said he's getting too old. He said it's got to be this year.
He's in great shape. He's still in great shape still. And this is a perfect opportunity for Mike Tyson to, he already showed us once before. He still got it.
Yeah.
He still got it. And fighting against a Jake Paul as opposed to a Evander Holyfield in a rematch of some sort because of the money or whatever. I'll take Jake over Evander because I just know I'm dealing with Lennox or Evander or any of the heavyweights that were people of my own ilk. At the same time, I'm coming up in this business and at the top of it, those guys can fight. They're really good professional boxers. I don't need to get hit that hard by a guy like Lennox Lewis just to have another fight under my belt at this age. I could fight a Jake Paul and not care.
Well, Jake Paul's probably
take a few bumps from him.
He's probably in the better position than Silva is because losing to Silva's a big name. So if Paul loses that match, or it's not that big a deal. If Silva loses, Jake Paul's, it's split 50-50. Some people like him, some people hate him. It's even.
Yeah, and it's getting harder and harder for this kid to get a fight. Come on, the last 2 fights got canceled. Yeah. It took forever to get this fight.
But the reason is because now we have people with legit records who are now dealing with the aspect of if they step into the ring with this kid who could take a few punches and might catch you with an uppercut, and he's a big, like I said, this dude's walking around at heavyweight size trying to fight these people. Yeah. You might catch an uppercut from dude, and you might go down, and it just happens to be your day at that time when that happens. So guess what? You just got a tick on your record now, and you're against that. Like that just screwed up like all these other rankings and how you're going to get into the chance to fight so and so or that person for that title in the real WBA or the real WBC or whatever. So like, yeah. As he keeps putting these zeros on and racking these wins up, he's going to turn around. Eventually, he's going to find someone who's going to see his 15-0 record or 15-1 record. They've got themselves a 20-0 record, but they're not the top 3 or 4 names in their weight class that are talking. And they know that by fighting this guy and knocking him out, that's just going to get them in front of more eyes, which brings in a bigger gate, which now might propel them ahead of these other ranked boxers.
Make some real money.
It's a win-win for these guys. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I wanted to give a little time to this because the last one just kind of fizzled out. We talked about it before it happened, so we'll see what happens. We're going to take a quick break here on the Q. When we come back, more with myself as well as Jonathan May and Jason Kull. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Q. Mark Bland, Jason Kull, Jonathan May, hanging out on this Saturday with you. And off air, man, this is something we need to discuss. Jonathan so Jonathan and me are sitting here.
I saw a video the other day.
You saw a video?
I saw a video, and the caption was, "This man's going crazy on his glizzy." I'm like, what's a glizzy?
So you want to know what a glizzy is?
So the guy had a beer at a baseball stadium. He bit one end off the glizzy.
Okay, which is a hot dog.
And bit the other end off and started drinking the beer through the glizzy.
Got
and everybody was like, "Oh, he on the glizzy." I'm like, "What is it? Why they call it glizzy?" It's hilarious.
So let me help you out. Okay, so Jonathan, I ran into this word the first time in a text message back in January of this year. Now, at the time when it was thrown into the text, it wasn't a popular word in pop culture. It was the first time I had ever seen it, didn't recognize it, but it did trigger a memory down the road months later when the first time I had heard about it was my son runs up to me and he goes, "Dad, check out this video." And I'm like, okay, so he's on TikTok, stuff like that, just like all the kids are. And it's the Glizzy Gobbler video, which is where this all starts, where it's this guy who sings this rap song. He's like, "It's Glizzy, 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 Glizzy all the time, and you Glizzy, Glizzy Gobbler, and you Glizzy all over," whatever. Okay, that's how it goes, right? It's a part of a meme, and it's this black guy dancing around the back of a truck, and he's singing it, and this other guy is singing that this guy who's got a hot dog in his hand is dancing and gobbling on a glizzy. Well, this became internet lore for a phallic symbol, or a pee-pee, right? So that's what glizzy is now. Actually, the word is for a hot dog, but it has now been usurped by pop culture and young people, and it has now become another word for the penis. So if you see someone talking about glizzy gobbling, they're gobbling on okay. All right. So, of course, when I realized this, because I finally do the research, it throws me back to the old text message. I talked to my boy, and he's like, "Yo, man, that's about a pee-pee." And I'm just like, oh, this is crazy. My 10-year-old showed me this. Why is this cool to him?
A glizzy.
So the word is now, for all of you out there, all you old people, let me be your Dr. Rick, okay? We don't call that a hot dog. That's a glizzy.
A glizzy.
Okay? Dr. Rick, just like Progressive's commercials when he's trying to teach you what not to do, like your parents, right? We don't need to ask about where the bathrooms are located at the theater, okay? They're right outside the door. We don't have to talk about leaving the game before we get into the game.
I wonder why. I wonder if that was...
Do you guys know who that is? You know who Dr. Rick is?
Yeah, the Progressive commercials.
No, well, yeah, I just said that. But
Oh,
I was
the
like,
actor?
do you know who... Have you seen these Progressive commercials? Have you seen this Dr. Rick stuff I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jonathan, you have no clue?
Progressive? You mean with Flo?
Yeah, well, no, but not
Well,
anymore. Now it's
geez.
Dr. Rick.
Yeah.
Dr. Rick is taking over for Flo.
Because you
and
have
he's been there for like
Progressive.
a year now.
And you're turning it into your parents.
Because you turn into your parents. It's hilarious.
Oh, the guy. Oh,
Who tries to teach you how not to be like your parents.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
That's who I am.
forgot that was-
That's who I am for all of you out there on
With the
radio.
glizzies.
With the glizzies. I am teaching you. That's not called a hot dog. That's
But like,
a glizzy.
I wonder why.
That's
like,
a glizzy.
like
That's
that
a
just
glizzy.
sounds like a made-up word that they were like, "Oh, that's my glizzy."
Oh, it is. It's a
Like-
total
like it
young
doesn't have-
person.
It's not
Listen.
based in anything. Like, this is
Listen,
what.
no different than us running around in the mid-'90s screaming psych at each other,
Yeah,
okay?
right?
Because we were trying to fool somebody else.
Right.
They've got the word glizzy now in 2022. That's just their thing. And by the way, it'll stay caught on in pop culture long enough, but it won't be a part of pop culture like they won't be selling glizzy dogs or
I'm
whatever.
thinking about marketing that, man. I ain't letting glizzy go. This word just flows off
You
the
just
tongue.
like this too much.
I'm not letting glizzy go. I'm loving
You
this
can't
thing.
let the glizzy go at all.
Man, especially
You-
these videos, like, man going crazy on this
You're gonna-
glizzy. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, you sound like you're going kind of crazy about the glizzy right now.
Yeah, what kind of
yourself.
videos you watching? Is it glizzy
Like,
makes
are you,
Peter.
you're not going to let it go? You're going to stay on top of the glizzy until you're done, right?
Just, Mark, just because you like the glizzies with the splizzy all over your fizzy,
Wait,
that
what?
mean you got to get
That
over
doesn't
here.
even make any sense. That's just
what's
you
happening
taking
here.
words
You like the glizzies
and
with the
rhyming
flizzy all
them?
over his yeah, splizzy. You like the glizzy, the splizzy.
This is what you think
all over
comedy
your
is
fizz?
just taking words and rhyming
Jason
them?
gets it.
Oh, it's funny
Jason
now
gets
because
it.
I said rhymey words.
You like your glizzy like a soda. Shake it
No,
up. Pop.
if I don't say funny rhymey words, that's rapping. Oh, that's even better. Okay, got
What are you
it.
even talking about? You glizzy exploding.
I was talking about the fact that you were excited about the glizzies. You were going to hold on to
word
the
is
glizzy.
amazing.
You were going to.
I'm gonna get a whole
He
line
said
of hot dogs
specifically,
and call them
"I'm
glizzies."
going to capitalize on the glizzy,"
On the
and
glizzy.
it's fun. That makes sense,
On the
Jonathan. That you
glizzies.
would capitalize
It's
on the
gonna be
glizzy.
new emojis. Forget the eggplants. We're gonna put the glizzies out there now. You know what I'm saying? This is money to be made.
Well, if you want to be called the Glizzy Captain from here on out,
Glizzy King.
the Glizzy King, you can be
Get
called.
your-
You know what, Jonathan May, you have done it to yourself. You are now Jonathan the Glizzy King May here on the Q. Congratulations, Glizzy King.
I like what you said.
You are the Glizzy King. You are the Glizzy King. Now, listen, no one's going to take it from you. I promise. No one's going to take that title from you. So you keep it. You keep it. Guys, have you been paying attention to anything that's been going on in the world of politics?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
yeah, I know where we're going. We're going with the, oh my God, the
Is there
nuclear stuff
something
that
I
was
should
over.
know?
Okay.
The nuclear stuff that was at Mar-a-Lago.
Right?
So
That's the craziest
the newest
thing ever.
So we've been talking for weeks on end, nonstop, about the raid and the documents and nuclear this and blah blah blah. Got it. Let's move forward. This week, some information came out about some of the documents that were recovered from Mar-a-Lago. And it seems as though our friend Donald Trump had taken documents in regards to other nations' nuclear capabilities. Now, that's not a surprise to the U.S. They had the documents about the other country's nuclear capabilities, so they already know the other country's nuclear capabilities. So this would not be documents that could be used against the United States. But this is definitely the type of document that you could take from MSB or a Putin and hand it over to a Kim Jong-un and say, hey, what this guy knows about that over there is this now, so pay me in the middle. And that's where this has always been going. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has constantly been trying to find his next set of steaks to sell, his next college to get you to go and lose your life savings on, the next great way to screw you. Remember, every single time that the raid happened, immediately they had emails that went out an hour later. Oh, they're attacking your former
Donate now.
leader. Donate now. He needs you. It's necessary. Literally, it's Bill Robertson. It's an evangelical preacher, Oral Robertson. It's Pat Robertson. It's all of these guys.
All those guys.
It's just all those guys. And it's him doing it now. And instead of using religion as the basis for why that you will get smited, it's the Democrats who will smite you.
Right.
And he is your God leading you into Trumpville.
And without $5 from you,
Yes.
it will all be.
It will all be over because it never was anything in the first place. It's been a scam, a Bernie Madoff,
totally
Ponzi scheme scam from day one. It's been flip this building to pay that building off, to steal from that guy over there, to do this to this building. It has never been anything other than you guys getting screwed over.
Like, seriously,
in America, every day of the week.
Could you imagine giving anyone money that says they need money because they're going to overturn the election from 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And you give that person money? How dumb are these people? Like, that's really, like, that's scary.
Dumb enough they got mad that we got black elves on the new Lord of the Rings and She-Hulk was twerking on Disney Plus. Like, are you serious right now? This man had nuclear secrets in his drawer.
Now, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Now, I guess, listen, I just watched the first episode of She-Hulk.
Great show.
Yesterday.
Great show.
Okay, it was the first time I watched any episode of She-Hulk. And the show was fantastic. It had the original, the guy who plays
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's in the show. It's fantastic. They did a really good job setting it up. I didn't know what I was to expect, but, like I said, I'm not a comic book guy, but I'm a huge Hulk guy. I love the Hulk. It's my favorite comic book hero of all time. So if there's a show about She-Hulk, it's taken me a little while to get to it, but I got to it. Like, I've had a lot on my plate. I've been dealing with a lot of things, went out of town for the weekend, for Labor Day and everything else. So it's one of those things, ladies and gentlemen, where I like the show. But then I've heard rumblings of an issue with She-Hulk. Now, what issue? I didn't see any twerking in the episode I saw. Is there twerking that is happening in She-Hulk?
In the last episode.
So in the newest episode, something I haven't seen.
The newest episode, the guest star is Megan Thee Stallion. And it's hilarious the way they actually got her into the episode. But they have after credit scenes. The after credit scene was her in her.
So it's after credits.
Office. Yeah. All of them have after credit scenes.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but it's after the credits. Like, it's not part of the main show at all.
Her boss is walking to her office, and he looks in, and he sees Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk twerk, and he just gives a little smirk and turns around and goes the other way.
Now, this is bothering conservatives?
Oh, my goodness. That and the Black Elf from Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I haven't heard nothing about either of these two issues. So, Jonathan, being the black man that you are, you can bring some of this culture to us. Let's hear it. What's going on? So we got the twerking. They got an issue with that. Why? Because she's twerking?
Well,
because it's...
people like they messed in the comic books. Like, if you look at the show and you've read the comic books, this is nothing like that. They have factors, characters.
Well, TV shows emulate real life. And in real life, Megan Thee Stallion exists. There are kids, your kids, conservatives, your 13-year-old and 14-year-old daughters specifically at a party this past weekend or with their friends when you're not around, twerking to each other and showing each other these things. Because guess what? Just like you did those type of things whenever you grew up and the things that were going on at that time, they're doing pop culture things today. So if twerking's popular, then they're going to be twerking, even if it's just for a fun joke in a show. Like, I can't see that being a bad thing. What's the elf thing?
Oh, so, the new series on Amazon with the Lord of the Rings. I forgot the name.
I have not seen this, and I don't watch Lord of the Rings really.
I don't watch it either. But they got this new series that's actually supposed to be pretty good, and even the new Game of Thrones with the dragons, black characters in both of them, and people.
Is that a big deal?
No, people are upset. Like these people, black people didn't exist in these worlds. You mean with the dragons and the walking trees? We got walking trees. We got an eyeball that is tearing people up, but one black person here is like somebody's imagination is running wild. Are you serious? What is going on?
I could see that.
I am kind of
flabbergasted?
Sure. At that right there. That kind of blows my mind. I don't think it matters in your fake made-up TV shows and wrestling shows and your this... what color anyone is. I also don't think that everyone needs to make a big to-do about it every time there is a black character that shows up, or it's the first time they're going to give a movie to so-and-so or whatever. We don't need any of that either. Like, I don't think across the board anybody needs to worry about any of this. If you want to have a black elf in Lord of the Rings, have a black elf. If you want a She-Hulk twerking, She-Hulk twerk. If you want to have this movie be about all black people with all black characters doing all black things from history because of whatever it is, sure, do it. I don't care. Oh. Do you know why? Because I'm normal. I have my own things, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, conservatives, I know here on 1280 KYRO, you guys are all mostly conservative listeners. We have quite a few liberal listeners because the Q show is who it is, but a lot of you are conservatives. It's okay. No one's coming and asking you to participate in any of it. No one's got a gun to your head and says you have to watch Lord of the Rings or that movie or this show. You don't have to do any of that. You could just live your life. And if you want to go outside and tinkle on your car or do whatever you got to do, go for it. Nobody cares.
I stumbled over a Facebook post. They had the poster that dropped for the Little Mermaid, the live action movie.
Does it have a black person in it under the sea?
The Little Mermaid is actually black.
What?
It's actually black. And I got on the comments.
The mermaids are never allowed to be black, Jason Cole.
I got on comments and I said, you know what?
This will not stand on 12:80 a.m., sir.
You can't have a movie about a mermaid and not have a real mermaid play the mermaid. Yeah, I'm not watching this. Not until they get a real mermaid to play this part. This is the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's a great way to go.
I'm like, get out of here, man. What's wrong with you?
A real mermaid.
No, these people listen.
That's not Captain.
But Jonathan, do you know what I want to say? I want to blame you and Jason and myself. No.
Self-blaming.
I want to blame everybody for creating this world the way it is now.
I had a piece in this.
All of us did. All of us did. I'm like Tupac.
I was giving this world.
We created the cool part.
Jason, if I could go to a former episode and just bring some back from years ago to just smack Jonathan across the face.
I need to talk about.
Listen, here's the deal. It's okay for us to live in this world. But we also have to take the onus that we are the ones who create everything in this world. Every time there's strife, a Michael Brown situation, anything. Like, we can use any situation across. I just use that one because that's more to our heart here in St. Louis. We know a lot more about that situation specifically from history over the last 10 years. But my point being, in the end, we're all a part of creating the problems, okay? If we don't enslave people hundreds of years ago, none of this starts. There is no arguments about T'Challa being black or a mermaid being black or a twerking She-Hulk with Megan Thee Stallion. None of this becomes a problem. So your ancestors are just as guilty as my ancestors. But, Jonathan, to come back on this, you can't sit here today and go, oh, I had no hand in it. So it shouldn't be attributed to me when I sat here and tried to say the same thing about slavery, that my family today never did anything to anyone 250 to 300 years ago at all, but I still have to deal with the fallout of it regardless. Same thing goes in society and culture. Things that happened years and years ago.
You said we got to take the fault. What are you talking about? You taking the fault for that?
I'm just saying, like, in general, like, this idea that I was like, no, it's okay for people today to not understand certain aspects of things and to not be a part, because they never grew up in that world. They weren't a part of it. Like, I've never been a part of here's what we're going to do.
I get to blame you out more.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave put a pin in this, take a quick break here on the Kid. When we come back,
blame the white folks
on KYO, we're going to talk more to Jonathan about this. I think this is an interesting topic. Racism, as if we never talk about it on the Q. We'll be back after this.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that shit like Stockton. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Q. Mark Bland, Jason Kull, Jonathan May, hanging out with you on this Saturday.
In that order.
By the way, next week we are going to be on after the Mizzou game starting. So as soon as the Mizzou game ends, that's when the Q will start. So if you don't hear us when you turn on the radio at 1 o'clock, just wait a little while. Wait till the game's over. You'll hear us after the fact. Before we went to break, I brought up something from the past about taking onus today versus the past and whether you should or can. And we were talking about it in regards to racism. Is a comment that I had brought it from a past conversation I had in regards to racism with Jonathan May. And me and Jonathan were talking, and what I was trying to say, Jonathan, this is why I wanted to put a pin in it, is the idea that there is no way for a person today to know exactly how someone felt or would feel back at a different time period a long, long time ago. But the idea of talking about it in a very open format, there shouldn't be any caveats to that. And when you get into those conversations with people quite often, especially if it's a black person and a white person, most of the time, if the white person goes down certain alleys or roads, they'll be like, "Oh, you can't talk on that. Like, you can't be on that situation or talk about that situation." It's like, well, everything for most of us is in the past in general. Like, I've talked about on the show that there's really no one today, at least not in the United States of America, that I know of, that is still in slavery. Now, I'm sure there might be people out there that consider themselves slaves to other people in humanity. Fine.
Oh my God.
People think that their bosses are slave drivers. Sure, they say things like that.
Talk about this.
But in the long run, you don't want to talk about
No.
No, we're not talking about it.
No, I said I don't know why you like to talk about this. 'Cause I'm gonna say stuff like you just said.
But I don't mind if you say stuff,
You
Jonathan.
said no one today knows what somebody felt like back then. We don't know what they felt like.
There's a general understanding of has
slave
actual real honest to God feeling of being a white person and being around a time period where people were super duper racist. Now there are people who are still alive today that lived in the 50s in the South. Okay, when there was a ton of racial strife going on and racism that was quite often right in their faces. What I'm trying to say is the majority of the people having the conversations today are under the age of 40 years old. Most of the people that are moving these conversations forward, the progression, right? Let's talk about Black Lives Matter, right? The majority of you got a lot of Black Lives Matter supporters, but the ones who get out there, the ones who are in everyone's face, the ones who are putting the good face on Black Lives Matter and protesting when they do are usually younger people. They're not people that are 80 years old. 90 years old, who do have actual memories of Georgia or Alabama in the 1950s and what it was like to be those people.
Those are the people putting signs in their yard.
Sure.
The people in their
50s, they'll put a sign in their yard or whatever.
40s. They're the guys who are supporting, but they're not out
and
there.
I feel like we can move that conversation a lot further down the road if I could get everybody on the same page to understand that we're a lot further down the road. Yeah. Yes, racism... Listen... You could break your arm tomorrow, person with two perfectly good arms. That's right, tomorrow. Tomorrow, you could break both of your arms or one of them. Ugh. You could have gotten hurt yesterday, and you're wearing a cast right now listening to this show. Things just happen when they happen, and you can't, protect against that. And there will always be something that could happen down the road. But if it's not the majority that prescribe to it. And I don't think that the majority of America prescribes to the racism anymore. I think you have a lot of ignorant people in the Trump campaign and the followers and the supporters of Donald Trump that tend to be what I would say not a fan of black people or black culture. But as far as true, hardcore, straight up racism, now I will say this. I have been watching over the last couple of years, especially during COVID. And the one thing that I am seeing more of that is starting to come back to the forefront a little bit is smaller groups that are kind of parsoning out and trying to get the name out there that they are racist, right? The Oath Keepers, the thises, the that's, the whoever's. They're trying behind the scenes with their small group of 800 this people across the entire nation, or this group of 500 people around the Northeast, or whatever.
Oath Keepers, though.
These people are trying to keep that vibe out there. Their problem is unlike the Ku Klux Klan of the 1920s, they can't just walk out there and just be blatantly racist publicly everywhere they go like those people could, because it was more accepted and generally thought of as a cool thing or something that is okay at the time.
Those Oath Keeper guys are scary, though. They had a story about them because I guess their roster list, I don't know if it was because of court cases or what, or they just released it. They got 38,000 members.
Yeah, just
38,000 members.
That just got released.
And
that's crazy.
Also, that was also released is they just released a list of a bunch of people that are like the Oath Keepers and groups like that are in military and law enforcement. And I literally just looked at the list today, and they physical names of people that are on a list and their addresses, and then match them against their job and where they work. And there's on this list currently that they have at the government that they released out, they have 800 or 900 names on the list.
Yeah, hundreds of guys.
And there's probably 15 from Missouri.
Yeah,
that's all that's on the list is 15 from Missouri. Now, they don't say what their job is with the police departments. They don't say what they do. They don't know what their ranks are in the military. They don't have any of that information right
county
there.
Lockup guys.
But, Jonathan, please come to the table on this. I do want to talk to you. When you're in the military, what kind of racism did you run into overseas?
Overseas?
Yeah, overseas. Because that's a much older part of the world. They've already been down the roads of racism and racists for, eons, centuries in some of those places. Centuries that they've had all these things go down. And then it's been 700 years since they've had anything like that in their world. But, like I said, things will still continue on regardless.
I saw actual slaves in Kuwait.
That's fair. I think that that's another piece that people fail to realize about all this.
Right.
Even though it's 2022, and I said in the United States, we don't have anyone that I know of. Do you guys know of anyone who's under like what you're talking about in Kuwait? But in Kuwait, you said straight up, those are slaves.
Right. Right. Yeah. Walking in trying to get tea, guy sitting on the ground, he was the one, hey, he got to get you all your stuff. And come to find out, well, yeah, he's over here, but he's slave. He has nothing. He stays here. He cooks for them. He does everything. They whoop him. They molest him, all kinds of things. Like, it got to the point, it was like, yo, I'm not getting tea from this guy.
So let me ask you a question. As a military person who's a black man from a world and a country where the idea of talking about the racism was so deeply ingrained into the culture, and the vibe and the feelings of people nowadays, and we're going back a few years for you when it comes to your military service. Mm-hmm. So like a different time period even then when you're experiencing all this. Right. But this idea that at that time period in history, you still got slaves equate. You're over there as an American. Do you want to free them? Like, are you trying to, like, you're like, I want to help these people. Like, I just want to help these people. I want to help them out. As just an American, like, just to get them out of this slavery situation or whatever this bad thing is, because I feel like, yeah, there's a boundary line that they give you in the sand. They say, listen, you're military. You can't cross this line. You can't talk about this to these people or do this or that or the other. Yeah, but you see a lot of inhumane stuff, and that's just one story. You got a lot of stories of inhumane things that you saw. And the question is at what point does it become like you feel like, oh, I want to take care of this. I want to try to fix it, or does that ever even cross your mind?
It's always going to cross your mind. You don't want to deal with it. You get away from it because there's nothing you can do. I mean, you mess around and start an international incident. Sure. Now you have to abide by their laws. Next thing you know, get locked up like Britney over in Russia, but worse. You know, it's not even a catch-22.
Well, wait, because they just take you and immediately put you into slavery. Like that becomes that moment. It's like, oh, you tried to free them? Well, we beat your butt. Now you're going to be with them.
Nothing. I mean, if you even steal, I mean, you get in your head. It's not even going to slavery. Certain laws, certain things.
They just kill you.
You get your hand cut off.
Sure.
You get your hand cut off, and if they kill you, it ain't just getting shot. They will stone you, and people
drag you behind a car,
think
things
about
like
stoning,
that. Yeah.
Like it's not like you just laying on the ground and throw rocks. No, they bury you in the ground with just your head sticking up, and it's a full circle of kids and everybody throwing rocks directly at your head.
Right, and they don't like this is okay. I'm glad you brought that up. I know that, ladies and gentlemen, that seems a little graphic, and I understand, but when you're talking about the way the world really is in some of the places that you don't go to all the time, these are things you don't think about. It was very popular back pre-1900s to draw and quarter somebody. In Russia, they still will tie you up, your arms and legs to 4 horses, and have them run in every different direction to rip your body completely apart. I know that sounds graphic too, and it's over the top. It is, but I want you guys to understand, these things still do exist and happen every single week in every different part of the world. Like, you have no clue. Like, just because these 15 countries don't, these 2 prescribe, and they live by that. You have whole sections of Africa where they are still tribal. They literally live by the tribal laws of the land that have been around for eons and centuries. So the idea of stoning somebody the way you're talking about, the way that they will torture. A tribe will capture another member. They will torture still. Like if a police officer captured a bad guy, right, from a robbery or whatever, it doesn't matter what his color is. In most cases, they're going to arrest the person. They're going to take him to jail. And that's going to be the end of the good guy, bad guy saga, right? No. In these tribal areas, if they decide you're the bad guy and they're the good guy and they win, no, they'll rip each one of your fingernails off. Ugh. One by one. They'll waterboard you, right? Jonathan, they'll waterboard you over in a lot of places in the Middle East. They'll do things to you that you've never... Have you ever tried waterboarding? It's real simple. You don't have to do much. Just take a cloth of some sort, put it over your face while you're in the swimming pool, right? And just put your hand on the cloth so you can pull it off at any time. Then just pour some water over your mouth while you try to breathe. See how it goes for you. I guarantee you, within seconds, you'll pull it right off and go, okay, I don't like that.
Yeah, okay.
Because it makes you feel... It immediately makes you feel claustrophobic. It immediately makes you feel like there is no option on the board.
Freak out. Yeah, do it in the shower.
And that's the other thing most people don't understand. most people, when they die in situations, it's not because they couldn't handle the situation. It's because they freaked out. And when they freaked out, it created some other thing that ended up leading to their death more than anything that would have happened if they just didn't freak out.
It's like the old plastic bag around the face and suffocating to death.
breathe
Everybody
in.
goes for the neck. Nobody ever pops the plastic. Nobody ever pops the. It's that simple.
Right. They always want to get the tape off from around the neck
everybody
because they
wanna
think
get-
the
yeah,
neck
right
is where
there,
that is the
Nobody
problem.
pops the plastic. You know, common sense isn't for everybody.
What if you're the head? Listen. What if you were the leader of like a terrorist organization's like torture squad, and you're like, we got to come up with some new stuff, guys. I'm getting really bored here. What if we listen? What if we did the bag over the head, but it was ripstop fabric instead, so they couldn't rip the hole right there? What about that? Or like just weird, crazy. Like there's a person out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a person out there in the United States right now. I'm not even talking about overseas. They're in your country right now, maybe even in your state or city. They are in the middle of planning some heinous things that they're going to do to someone locally. Not some news story that you're going to hear about and it's going to be all over your Facebook feeds. It's not some shooting at some casino concert or anything like that. No. They're planning on catching someone specific, taking that person and doing some bad things to them. And they are right now alive, walking around, free as you are, going to the laundromat, going to the grocery store, just living their life, not caring about anything else at all. That's the truth. Those people are out there. It's a wicked world we live in. But we got to find a way to get past the wickedness. We have to find a way to have the tough conversations without it being a problem. We have to find a way.
Can we find a way to lighten this up? It's depressing as hell in here right now. There's a black cloud up in this man. Wait at Mark.
It's a black cloud world, man.
Yeah, next thing you know, we talk about abortion. Jeez, let it go. What we got?
By the way, everybody out there, listen, I'm glad you brought up abortion real quick before we hit the break. Roe versus Wade hasn't been codified one way or the other, guys.
No.
So I need you to understand, all you stupid conservatives who don't get it. All that was changed was the stance and opinion of the Supreme Court in the way that they view Roe versus Wade. As far as laws go, there was never a law in the books that said that Roe versus Wade existed and that you can't have abortions. Or that you can have abortions. I'm sorry, that you can have abortions. Okay? Well, there's no law in the books now, even though the stance was overturned. There's no law in the books now that says that you can't go have an abortion. There are states that, because of them changing their stance, think, oh, this is where this is going, so let's get ahead of this now, and we'll start telling everybody how we feel it needs to be because it's states' rights stuff. No. As far as the law goes, it hasn't been changed at all. Period. No matter what state you're in. So, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I know that we are not happy about that change. Another mean, evil thing, this black cloud hanging over the segment of the show that Jonathan hates. But maybe I can find some werewolves to chase the black clouds away, you know? Maybe I can find some flying dragons or some elves, some black elves. Maybe there's some black elves that could whip their hands around and make it all go declassified. And then the clouds just stop being there because they're declassified.
Do the elves have magic?
Declassified. I just declassified this.
Yeah, they have
Declassified.
magic, right?
I don't know.
All right.
The elf on the shelf has magic. He goes back to Santa.
How about you guys let me take a quick break here on the show, and when we come back, more episode of The Q with me, Jonathan and Jay. We'll be back after this. 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Mark Bland, The Q, Jason, John, Mark, all hanging out with you guys, and we're discussing all kinds of fun things. And Jason, say that again. You just said that off the air. Can you say that on the air out loud, please?
What I said was, have either of you two ever met anyone that just randomly said, you know, my wife and I are swingers?
They were super...
And they were attractive.
They were super attractive of some
not even
sort.
hot, like the
just
wife
attractive,
and
just
him,
attractive.
you know, either one.
Right.
Were just attractive.
I'm glad that you asked this. I feel like there's a two-piece for me here because I have my shorts that are swimming trunks. I have swimming trunks that have pineapples on them. And if you don't know anything about the swinger lifestyle, an upside-down pineapple is like their code for each other to let each other know that they're swingers.
SpongeBob's house.
What? Yeah, just like SpongeBob's house, but it's got to be an upside down pineapple.
So if I order like
not a pineapple upside down under the sea. No, just an upside down
Why does it have
pineapple.
to be a code? That kind of
Well, that's the code. Well, no, because
so you know without asking.
well, it is literally every other.
Give me a shirt.
No. I can answer this. No, guys, I can answer this. I can help you out in this world because this all had to be explained to me because I'm walking around with pineapple shorts, not getting the jokes. Then I have someone pull me off the side who kind of breaks it down a little bit
They
for
try
me.
to get that glizzy.
Maybe you're the glizzy king. You would know. You're the glizzy king. That's right, glizzy king. So check it out. What had happened was
proposition.
I did not get a proposition. They just knew a lot about it, and they explained the pineapple is the only fruit that no matter which direction you turn it, upside down, this, there, it doesn't look like it's stealth-sill. So, like, it changes
totally
the look.
changes,
Like,
that's
it changes
right.
it. So, it's a fruit, right? Yeah. So, that's a very common thing in our society. It's on our phones as emojis. It's like, it's a common thing. And so, like, it's everywhere. So, you don't have to worry about it becoming the focal point of anything. And if it's upside down, simple code. Oh, there's a pineapple that's upside down. These people are associated with this aspect of life. That's it.
Because, you know,
Real simple.
I'm running.
Did you know that?
No, it's like, why
Did you know that?
Though?
No, but I'm running common fruit through my head, and that's true. Like, even a strawberry, you would say a strawberry, but it has a little green on top. But even a strawberry, you turn it upside down,
Still
it's
looks
still
red
that
and-
strawberry.
yep.
It's that
Red,
the big
shape-ish
red
kind of,
open.
like-
It's not
Exactly.
you
A
don't
pineapple
notice that.
has a much larger...
Pineapple. You're like,
Yeah.
that pineapple's upside down.
So I had a lot of people coming up to me with my shorts on going, oh, I guess you're into swinging. And I'm like,
Nice.
no. Why? You got upside down pineapples. It's like, it's swimming trunks. They have just a print in every direction
Made
of
for
the same
swingers.
thing. Oh, so
Swimming trunks made for swingers.
And my
swimming trunks are made for...
I'm gonna get
No, you had a pair that
upside
were
down
made for
pineapple
swingers.
shirt.
No, I just
Wear
had
around.
pineapple. There was another kid. He was getting harassed about his pineapple shorts too. Completely different style
Somebody
of
was
pineapple.
trying to swing with a kid?
No.
That's swingers.
what-
I don't
So
think that
where you
he
at?
was trying to swim with the kid. The kid just had on pineapple swimming trunks, and me and him even talked about it for a minute. Now he even goes, "Oh, I heard him saying something about yours. I keep having people on the river saying something about mine every time I get in and out of the canoe or whatever." And I'm like, we just sat there and talked about it for a second. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of
what's the
weird. I
problem?
don't know any swingers, and I don't do anything like that, and you don't because you're only like what 15. So it's like these are weird people that have these things that are going on in their worlds. But I must digress.
Most of them.
I do
gross.
want to get back to where Jason was at originally with this conversation. This almost sounds like one of our questions from a listener. Like, have you ever met a swinger couple that was attractive? Okay, no, I haven't
Right?
met a swingers couple. I've met them before. I don't know any
known
personally.
these,
I'm not
like-
around any, but I've met couples who have told me they are swingers, and no, they weren't attractive people.
Right?
Neither one of them were. It's
who are they
weird. Like,
asking?
listen. These people are having like get-togethers at their private residences with them and two other like wife couples or whatever, husband and wife couples. So like, I don't have any idea how any of it goes down, but I feel like I can go out on a limb and say this: there are enough places in the United States that like cater to these types of individuals. I'm sure there are some resorts where there are a couple of couples where there's a hot guy and girl and another hot guy and girl, and they get together.
Because most of these swinger.
Have you ever been to one of those?
No. Funny story. When I got deployed one time, when I went to Iceland. My partners, they got deployed to I think it was Curacao. They didn't have any room in the hotel for them, and they were staying there for months. So they booked them. Hey, well, just go to the hotel down the street. Yeah, booked there. They got booked at a hedonism resort.
Oh, they got booked at hedonism?
21, 22-year-old like military
Young
cats
men.
in there, and they get in there the first
And it's just
day.
girls walking around
They
butt
got
naked.
sheets on the bed because it's toga night. You make your own toga out of this sheet. You come out there, so they all out there just having the time of their life. While I'm freezing my butt nice, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
Come on.
That's a good thing. I probably would have come.
Was it you just couldn't go or you just didn't want to go?
I know I couldn't go. I was going. I was sitting nice. You mean that I?
Oh,
was
so it was like they got transferred.
Well, I wanted to go to Curacao originally because
Sure.
it's tropical. Yeah, of course I'm gonna go there. If I got the choice between that and Iceland, but you imagine me learning my partners down there.
What's your
knee-deep
favorite
in it.
place you've ever been in life?
Iceland, actually.
Is Iceland your favorite place
As
you've
I
ever?
didn't want to go. Iceland is probably the most beautiful. I mean, I got to see the Aurora
Aurora Borealis.
Borealis. Yeah, man. The waterfalls. Glaciers, I got to see
Glaciers,
whales.
yeah, glaciers.
Did you see any swingers up there? Were they?
Did you try to eat? Did you try to eat their fermented fish like delicacy? That's like rotted fish.
The running thing is cod up there, and I had that. I didn't eat that old rotted stuff, but yeah, it was crazy. I got crazy stories that I cannot say on it.
Florida restaurants, stop thinking grouper is the only thing you can sell on your entire restaurant menus in every stop it. Grouper is okay fish. It's not great. I get it. It's a cheap fish.
The Blue Lagoon. I got to visit the Blue Lagoon.
The Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, it was like $15, man. You go Google it. Iceland.
Google that. Google that.
You're gonna be like, what?
Glizzy King sent me. Can I say that Glizzy King sent me?
You can, and you just gotta bow when you do it.
What if I was at Hedonism and said the Glizzy King sent me? They would be super happy.
Oh my God!
But you know what?
Next.
If either one of you two are wondering what I'm talking about when I talk about have you met swingers and are they attractive, just go to Golden Corral.
Is that what it is?
Oh,
that's not where they're at. I'm just saying, go to Golden Corral.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what I just imagine.
Is anybody impressed with Golden Corral ever? I've never been impressed with Golden Corral other than they had more buffet food than any other place.
Yeah,
but
Hometown Buffet I always thought was really crappy.
But you could always find something that you like.
Something,
Sure. Golden Corral is something there that you like.
I think it
used to be the ice cream machine.
It's not bad. I'm not gonna have.
How do we view buffets after COVID? Now that it's post-COVID, I don't think many are open. I think Golden Corral is open.
I think you got a couple of hibachi grills still open, but it's set
But
up
sure, that idea of the heat cooking everything away right in front of you, I feel like it feels a lot safer than this warmed over macaroni or potatoes that 3 other dudes coughed on before you got to it.
No way I'm going to a buffet and killing somebody's granny.
I can't. I just can't. One thing that did happen this past week, ladies and gentlemen, that I do want to talk about with my 2 fair gentlemen over here, is that our boy Joe Biden got up on the pulpit and he basically slammed MAGA Republicans. He went after them. He was basically like, there is no place for political violence in America. You people suck. You should go away. There is no... And you know what? Here's the thing. He is talking to the other party that was popular in the last 2 presidential elections. So he is talking to millions of people. I know that you all think that this is just some group of individuals who went wayward or this. No. They are literally digging those heels in and trying to sit. Listen, we're 2 years after he left presidency. If they're still talking about Trump or MAGA or even putting up a poster or a thing or anything like that, yeah, they're suckered. You aren't going to change their mind. They're done.
Yeah.
They're never changing their mind.
You're never deprogramming grandma.
You're never changing their mind.
It's got to be the kid.
If he goes to jail, it's even worse. Because if he goes to jail, now they have a new thing that they can peddle to get money over and over to keep this thing. And here's the problem. I talked about in the last episode, if you remember. This idea that the people there with Hitler, they didn't care about Hitler so much. Yeah, Hitler was influential and Hitler was a bad man, but it was we could kill Hitler, we get rid of Hitler. It was the message. The message is what they couldn't stop. It kept reverberating through the heads of hundreds of thousands of other people. And it was getting shared and propaganda was getting put out. That was the problem for them. That's the problem here.
Yeah.
We get rid of Trump. Trump can go away, but this mentality, this idea, be extra stupid, don't have a lot of education, just lie about everything, steal if you have to, doesn't matter. There's always someone who can be president and be those things. And Trump proved it. And now it's reverberating through their head. You can even be a bad guy and be the president of the United States.
It's just so backwards to me. I would hide.
It is backwards.
I would hide a MAGA hat before and I wouldn't be ashamed of upside down pineapple. I'll just have a shirt to say I'm a swinger. You know what I'm saying? I would rather do that than just, I don't understand.
Man. Here's the thing about them, though.
I can't believe they haven't just pulled the trigger on taking dude down. The Espionage Act is sitting right there. Well, the documents were top secret. They were not declassified. That all these things have already come out. Now, if Jonathan walked in there with his military clearance of whatever it was at the time, E1.
But he's got his master.
He's an E1.
Special
That's
master.
what's E1?
This is the first one. It's the very first
Yeah, that's what you were.
Yes.
Right, that's you. Private First Class Glizzy King. Okay. If Private First Class Glizzy King tried to walk into that room where those documents were and was able to successfully get him out of that room, and then they caught him a month later, do you think Jonathan would be sitting here with me right now, hanging out on a radio show, talking about this or that, or blah, 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 blah?
That went in and got the information, a handful of them couldn't even look at it.
They had to get their own clearance. That's what I'm saying. So, if that's the information we're already dealing with that's on the board and known as factual, and the Espionage Act says if a former military leader or leader takes anything, this, that, or the other, at all, okay, that is illegal. And it doesn't allow them to run for president or any other political law. You can't hold office ever again. Like, these are all laws that are already in place right now. He has already checkmarked off 4 of the things for this to literally put him in jail. So we know he's not going to go to jail. He's probably going to plea bargain. If he plea bargains, he's going to work it out to where he can still live at Mar-a-Lago and still talk his Trump trash on Truth Social. By the way, have you been on Truth Social? Are you on Truth right now? You still got? Have you been kicked off?
I haven't. I've said so many terrible things, and they won't.
So many terrible things.
I might sign up. They going bankrupt anyway. I need to get in there before it goes bad.
You need to get on there. Why aren't you on there just having fun?
You know what? I have said
you should. Like, I really think that you could. But the problem is, the minute you say one thing, Jay, they kind of got you then. No, your red flag.
I've typed the C word.
The C word?
Multiple times.
Well, about free speech around there.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Free speech around there.
Multiple times.
Can't?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Multiple times. But you know what? The thing about that, and we've discussed this before, but the Trump people, now with January 6th and everything else he's had to deal with, we're at over 1,000 people who have testified against him. These people are running around believing over 1,000 people are lying with this guy. God. And there's always a video. There's always something. He pleads the 5th in New York. There's a video of him talking about people pleading the 5th. Now you're a criminal.
The fact that they swing. This is backwards. This world is
we
backwards.
now know the secrets he had. There's a video of him talking about Hillary, and we need someone that takes classified information. Wake up, people. Like, are you really that dense? Did your self-respect that low that you're going to believe this guy still?
Biden went on and said MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards. Backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to conscience. Actually, if you want to know something, honestly, Joe, no right to privacy, no, they're going to want everything to be extra private because they don't want to get caught with all the trash that they're doing.
Yeah, they want their privacy.
No right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. Biden said they promote authoritarian leaders and fan the flames of political violence. That's true. That's literally all they do. And I've been on top of it from day one, ladies and gentlemen. Day one. But to be honest, this speech isn't for the MAGAs, in my opinion. It's for the rest of America.
To wake up and vote.
Don't expect them to sit down and go quietly. It's clearly not in their nature. Otherwise, they will have done so by now. Okay? No, they will not. They will double down and fight until their pathetic reality consumes them somehow.
He's right.
They really will. No, this is just me talking off the top of my head. This speech, honestly, is to awaken a unified consciousness amongst the rest of America. Like, this is to prepare us for that reality, the reality that we know is coming. I've literally had episodes of the show called Civil War.
Yeah.
Now, what is really interesting in this situation is let's say Civil War broke out. Let's just say it did.
Well, what
let's
was
say
it?
it broke out.
Was it 43% of the last poll of Republicans polled said they thought Civil War was coming? 43%. But you know what? If all of the MAGA people just poof left this world, everything would be great.
Oh my God.
We would still have all of our movies, all of our music, all of our literature, because none of that's made by
free
them.
Healthcare.
Yeah, we would have most of our doctors.
We've talked about the student loan debt relief a lot over the last few weeks. We haven't really talked about it on this show, and we're not going to. But imagine if we had universal health care. Imagine if $500 to $700 a person paycheck wasn't getting hit that hard for health care.
Yeah, and that's
$500 every 2 weeks extra that I would have to use to buy this or buy that, to put money back into our economy, to help things, to get savings. Hey, to maybe even be able to go on a vacation or something. Like, it's crazy the things that people used to be able to do but can't do anymore because of greed and bitter pettiness.
If you have 2 or more kids, $500 isn't far from what you might pay, maybe not per week, but maybe, I mean, for sure per month. You know, if you get paid twice a month, for sure you're spending at least $500, probably more like $650 or something on insurance.
Quick question. When they got those documents out of Mar-a-Lago, say y'all were agents and y'all came in, you didn't have the clearance to look at it, but it's laying right there on the floor. Would you look?
Say that again?
I might.
So
I didn't catch it the first time.
You're an agent that busted, you go into Mar-a-Lago to look for the documents. They got them. They spread them on the floor.
Sure.
You don't have the clearance to look at the documentation.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone, but you're right there. You're going to look?
Like, unless you
Of course you're going to look because that's who you are.
I'm asking you.
Unless you get...
That's every human being on this earth. Now,
Unless
will
you
you
get
tell
caught?
that? No. Will you tell that you looked? Nah.
No.
Nobody will.
And how are they going to prove?
There will be a few people that will say it just to keep
Video.
themselves clear, but
Video.
If there's a video on me, a camera on me, then I'm probably not. But if there's no camera and there's this document that has a cover letter that says top secret SCI, I'm flipping that thing over because really, seriously, if they ask me and I say no, I think I can prove I looked at it.
What would you think it would have been? All right, you in there, you flip one. What's on it? When you flip it, what's on it?
It's funny that you guys talk about that. Did you guys see the whole heckler situation and how Joe Biden handled it?
Yeah.
There was a heckler
That guy hang
at
himself.
this thing that he was doing to talk about all the nationalism and all that
I
stuff.
didn't see it.
Like, there was a heckler.
Yeah,
He was giving him trouble with a megaphone.
Oh, no, when he was walking out.
No. Well, there's that one, but
Yeah, I
no,
saw
same
that
guy. It's the same guy, but it's during the middle of the speech.
Yeah, he was like,
He tells them, like, the security goes to try to get him and stop him, and he goes, no, it's okay. You're allowed to be a moron in our country and have whatever belief you want. That doesn't mean that I have to believe it too, which is great because how did Trump handle it? Every time someone heckled him, get him, throw him out, beat him up, get those guys out of here because I need my stuff private. I got to be a white nationalist privately.
I can't have anyone confront me.
Can't have anyone confront me about how I'm a piece of trash.
Well, that's the thing, and
All
Trump can't handle that. He can't think on his feet, so a heckler would tear him apart.
All right. He can't think on his back.
We could talk about this all day long. We got to take a quick break here on KYR. We'll be back on the show after this.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey. Staring at your dress cause it's see-through. Yeah, talking that shit that you done been
Welcome
through.
back to the Q. Mark Bland, Jason Call, Jonathan May, sitting over there having a good time, and we are discussing, we're just discussing life. We're discussing all kinds of things in it, but I want to move on a little bit. Jonathan, you love those letters to the listeners, those love letters.
Oh, you got some?
Those love letters that we get.
Love them.
So let's do this. I'm a 40-year-old female.
Nice.
Cis female. Cis female. CIS. Just means straight. I have a very discerning taste in men and always end up alone. Any way for me to be more open without sacrificing my standards? All right, so you're 40 years old. Okay, let's break this down. First off, you're 40 years old. You're a female. You're worried about if you're cis or heterosexual or this or that. Fine, got it. Great. You say you have a discerning taste in men, and you always end up alone. Any way to be more open without sacrificing my standards? Well, you're 40, so you're already in a much tougher dating pool.
Yeah, lower
but
those
here's the funny
standards.
thing. I feel like the 40s, Jonathan, you would know. Me and our friend over here have been married many, many a year. But
Yeah, we're all
you
locked up.
have, in the last 10 years alone, have had your own situations where you are single or dating, right? And you were in your 30s, correct?
Yeah.
Mid-30s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us what it's
Was
like.
it tough? Well, no. Question. Was it tougher to date, obviously, in your mid-30s compared to when you met your wife at 19, 18, 17, whatever like that? Was it tougher to date in your 30s?
Hell no.
Because I feel like in your 40s it would be even tougher to date because you're getting older.
yeah.
And also, I feel like, but I also feel like that maybe it's tougher to date because of your age, but there's a lot more people that had divorces already and gone through that. You know what I'm saying? They've been down the road. They're out of it now. They're looking for their next move in life. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to date at the age of 31, it's going to be a lot tougher. Because you're dating the 25, 23-year-old. They're like, ain't you a little old to be dating someone that young? And the 40-year-old makes you a cougar, right? And then everyone in their 30s is pretty much already either married or taken. Like, there's not a lot of options there is what I'm saying. So you're going to have a lot more trouble, ma'am, getting someone in your 40s. But, as Jonathan said, not too tough to date at that age.
Yeah, you get on a dating website. Somebody out there is into what she's into. Around the same age. Just find them. Do something.
Maybe lighten your taste in men up.
And it was a vague description.
Unless,
she should have did a little bit more.
Yeah, she should have done a little bit more.
I wonder what these standards are, because maybe there's room. You know what I mean? Like, if your standard's like a little too high.
Maybe they just had a bad run of luck so far. I know people who are friends of mine that are not bad looking dudes, like my buddy John, right?
40 years of bad luck?
I'm not going to out him at all. Different John. He literally didn't get married until probably his early 30s. He tried to date and find dates when we were all younger in our 19s, 18s, 20, 21, all like that. He found girls that he could date every once in a blue moon, but he drove a 300ZX. At that time, we're talking late 90s, early 2000s. 300ZX, nice car to have, right? He's in his early 20s. He lifts weights. He's in great shape. Doesn't look bad at all. Now he's married and has triplets now and everything else. His life has moved on. But I'm just saying, for many years there, he would complain about it's tough to date or find someone. I'm like, how? You're not a bad-looking dude and you're in shape. Like, I don't understand how there's any problem for you. But he had a bad run of luck. Like, he was just running into bad luck.
But her standards were way too high.
Right. I mean, things have changed. Times have changed. Whatever you're looking for dating-wise, it's right. It's accessible. It's not an excuse. Somebody's in it. You can have one eye, one leg. Somebody's looking for that.
For those who like to do things outside on hikes and while camping, you know. Okay. Should we be wary of trail cams or GoPros people are hiding in trees for whatever reason? How should we spot them? Okay. Now you're talking to people who live in the rurals, okay? Deer hunting is a very popular thing. There are a lot of camping and hiking trails that have deer cameras on them to like catch deer at night to find out where they're at, where they're coming in from. So like the camera will take a quick picture or a few pictures and then they can see, oh, he's standing over here. Oh, he's walking slowly this way or that way. Yeah, you probably need to watch out for some of that. Now, if you're in your own tent, nobody cares.
There.
Just do it in your tent.
Yeah, nobody told you to take your butt outside.
Also, wait. Then you say, but here's the best part. Then you ask how to spot him. Okay, now you want to be on the trail.
Right?
Like you trying to exhibition.
It's the risk that you're taking. You might be on camera. If you want to go out there and bump uglies or cuties,
I go
I don't know what they look like.
Camera. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like this.
Right in front of the camera with my upside down pineapple.
Let this hit come out and check it. Oh, I'm getting any deer. Like, what? Just my jump.
How about this? Now, if you're going to popular places or places that got a lot of people that are coming around them, then yeah, I'd be wary of some of those trail cameras and things like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? If you're willing to have sex at night out in just the woods, don't stop with the camera. You're not afraid.
Jonathan's not even willing to go with you and me into the woods to go look for ghosts.
Woods. I'm about to be pumping my butt in the woods with mosquitoes.
Would you have sex in the woods? Would you have sex at midnight in the woods?
In a tent?
No, not a tent. In the woods, just out in the woods. Not on a camera. No camera.
I said camper. In a camper.
No camper. Just out in the woods on a trail.
No, just on the ground.
Now, have you ever done that? I have done this.
Yeah, well, not on
I have had sex out in the open in not a populated area, but outside.
I was on a sled.
You got ate up?
You were on a sled.
I was on a sled, but we were out just in the woods.
Were you going downhill?
Sort of.
I was going down. I can't speak for others, but
she was on the sled.
Did the bugs eat you up?
No, it was winter.
No, but she whispered "glizzy" King in his ear. I can tell you that.
She did say, "Give me the glizzy."
This person says an ex-boyfriend is seeing trans prostitutes. So I guess this is a gay gentleman who has an ex-boyfriend who's seeing trans prostitutes. Do I tell his current? An ex-boyfriend is seeing trans prostitutes. Do I tell his current wife if an opportunity to do so should arise? And it will, as we live in a small island. I would have wanted to know if we were still together. I would have wanted to know if we were still together. Should she not be offered the same opportunity?
I don't know.
All right, so we have an ex-boyfriend of another guy. This guy was married to a woman. This guy wants to know. I know he's dating trans prostitutes behind her back. I want to know. He dated me behind her back. I want to know, should I go tell her? Now, here's the other piece of this that you're not asking. If you go down this road and tell her that he's doing these things, will you also let her know that you dated the ex-boyfriend?
Maybe. You know what? Maybe you
because I find it weird that he would date you and then leave you to go marry a woman for many years, and then now you're finding out this information. This feels like you dated him while he was married, and now you also are part of that world.
I think the only reason I would tell her is because if he's like seeing prostitutes, maybe tell her
because of a disease or something.
Yeah, before this chick like gets disease.
Talk about it.
Well, he's saying the opportunity is going to arise to see her and run into her. Like they live on a small island, so we're going to talk.
I'm great. Guess what?
You been
your husband.
That's what he does on Tuesday.
What if you run to her? She got an upside down pineapple on the pants.
On the board.
Yeah, like okay, whatever. I guess they're into it.
Yeah.
More
bring that prostitute.
No, we call them prosties now. We got glizzies with prosties. Prosties with glizzies.
This woman says, I met a guy that is very gifted, unlike Jonathan May, at giving me multiple orgasms.
Nice.
Okay. But I have a hard time getting him to do his end at all. Any advice? Any advice? Okay, so you're getting off a bunch, but evidently he can't. Or he isn't.
Needs another person.
I don't know how to fit. Listen, if the multiples aren't enough to get him to where he needs to be,
something's going
there
on.
might be something deeper psychologically with that situation.
What it is.
He needs something else.
Like talk about first off, if you're already having a good rapport with this person sexually, have a conversation with them. Like I don't feel like that conversation's too far off.
Right. He probably wants some crazy stuff. Put a
But if he doesn't want to,
put a knife to his throat when he walks in and say, "Give me the glizzy, give me the glizzy." See, that might work. That might work.
I almost did.
I'm thinking that might work.
I almost did.
Spice up the relationship.
Well, here's the thing: if he doesn't want to get off or whatever, right, that's on him. That's on him if he doesn't want to. Now, if you're mad because you can't make him do whatever, wherever, because you want it. Well, that's kind of unfair to him.
You ever worry about the other person getting theirs? You ever worry about the other person getting theirs?
I have, of course. I mean, I've put in the work for it.
If I beat you, I'm sorry.
I'm done. You're done.
Yeah, got it first.
I guess in a relationship it's a little different. But if it's like the first time and I'm unsure if there might be a second time, then yeah, I'm all in. Like I'm doing whatever I can.
She's like, I am doing things. I'm making it happen.
I would rob an old woman.
You said you would rob an old woman?
Yeah, if I thought it would help me get in that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, if it's the first time with me, I'm going to give you an orgasm.
Okay.
I might.
All right.
All
okay.
my face off.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Going to
this
happen.
Is really getting graphic. This is like that cloudy section earlier, but it's getting like really graphic.
Kind of cloud. I got Mark's pineapple shorts on.
Jesus. What are the most annoying, overused, and redundant comments you hear?
I said what I said. Don't you hate when people post that?
I'm kind of getting sick of also, and this could be because of my children,
Right? That's a good one.
but I'm getting sick of Ayo.
Ayo.
Like, that's their way of starting every conversation, or
Ayo,
bruh, or bro, or
bro,
Ayo.
yeah.
Like, those things, that's just,
tough.
like, I don't mind saying bro in reference to something to lighten it up, but like Ayo constantly, or bro, or this, or that, like... And you're hearing a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of things in media that people like pay attention to. It's just too much.
I'm tired of cap.
Cap, or no cap, and cap.
No cap. I'm tired of cap.
What's a deep, dark rabbit hole that a person should research when they are bored?
The Mandela effect.
We talked about the Mandela effect on the last episode, didn't we?
Absolutely. You talk about it.
No. The literal episode, the episode like 3 episodes ago with Drew Pinson is called the Mandela effect because in the show, I had 2 moments that were Mandela affected on me, and we looked it up, and I was 10 years completely off of where I thought I was. Like, the Mandela effect is a really cool, interesting thing to look up and research.
Right. That's a rabbit hole right there.
A deep, dark rabbit hole that people might like. For my pro wrestling world, there is Dark Side of the Ring. I think that that's a nice little rabbit hole for people to go check out, like a section of sports you don't typically hear about too often, and then like really weird, crazy, over-the-top stories of things that you just didn't expect from people whose names you know off the top of your head. Like, it's just stuff you just never would have expected. What about you, Jay? Got any deep, dark rabbit holes people should go after when they're on their YouTube? Or the last one you got it suckered into?
Just type in conspiracy theories.
Werewolves in the woods.
Or type in...
GLIZZY King Werewolf?
If you go into YouTube and type in, like, most heavily guarded places on Earth, and then you start... there's, like, dozens of those, and it's just so interesting to see, like, these secret places, and some of them are pointless, and some of them are like, ooh, that is kind of nefarious.
Now, I will tell you this. I did get into World's Most Dangerous Prisons, a TV show on Netflix.
Yeah, that's
Now, here's what's crazy about this, all right? Kind of like 60 Days In, which is another one that's on like Bravo Network.
That's
or
A&E.
A&E. That's where the guys go in. They're former parole officers and people like that.
What are they trying to do with that? Because the one guy did 30 years.
Literally.
60 days is going to bother him.
No. Well, that's my point. The whole point of the show is that they're trying to go suss out jails to find who's doing what behind the scenes to like make moves, like to get drugs in or out. That's the purpose.
System, right.
That's the purpose, is to find holes in the system.
Okay.
So that's why it's usually former corrections officers, former police officers, even sometimes people who've been to jail before.
No, this is the first time they do it. That's what the new season's about.
Yeah.
Oh, people who've already been to jail and they're out?
Yeah, the new one, yeah. This is the first time they've done it.
Oh, I know you. I remember you. That's going to happen. That's got to happen. Unless you're taking people from a completely different state.
You'd have to
and
really
put
move
in.
them, yeah.
But what I thought was crazy about that show, and like the prisons, I got suckered into the prison one about the most dangerous prisons, but the problem with it was every single time they went to a new most dangerous prison, it was kind of the next place, but the same problems, the same setup. Like there's always a kingpin. You can only sleep here or do things here. It's always trashed. It's always horrible to live in. Like it never changed in its thing. And then with the 60 days, the one thing I do like about the 60 days, they had the one guy who was a parole officer, and he was literally there as like one of their main guys to try to go in there. He slowly started becoming the head capo of the jail. Twice.
On 2 different seasons. Dude,
Jonathan loves this stuff. He watches this alone, all that stuff.
Black
He loves
Knight
it.
Satellite. That's another black hole.
What's that?
Black Knight Satellite. The Black Knight Satellite. That is a.
You know what else is interesting?
That's a black hole.
Videos catching Starlink go by. Do you know what Starlink is?
Yeah,
the Elon Musk thing?
Elon
But it
Musk
looks
satellite.
like little stars connected. So they shoot through the sky, and it
Yeah,
looks like
it looks like a
multiple
big
shooting
ball.
stars as it goes by.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to find out and catch. It's not like the International Space Station where NASA tells them, like, oh, it's over
At this
these
time,
places
yeah,
at this
look
time
up
or whatever.
where it
Look
is.
up. You might be able to see it. No, they don't do that with Starlink. They're just like, you'll catch it when you catch it. And it always looks like shooting stars.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing to do, too. So, all right, guys. Well, I think it's about time for us to get out of here on KYRO. I want to thank 1280 AM KYRO News Radio, KYRO.com. That's where you can find us every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Unless the Mizzou game's on, catch us right after the Mizzou games next week. And this week you caught us after the Mizzou game. So check that out. Thank you to Jonathan May. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being on the show. I appreciate it.
I'm ready to get out. I got to go take a pizzy with my glizzy.
All right. You got to do what you got to do. You got to glizz it up. You got to pizzy that glizzy, baby.
Glizz up, everyone.
You got to pizzy that glizzy. Jason Call, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Check out theqnow.com, old episodes, new episodes, and everything in between. And we might even have a new sponsor coming on board, so stay tuned for that. But we'll see if we can get Jonathan suckered into this Halloween thing for us. Maybe we can get some werewolves and vampires to make him happy or something. We're going to be there all day and night, so we'll have a good time with it. We'll be back on the Q next time. We'll see you guys.